Hey everybody, it is Chuck Barone here on Friday, August the 9th, 2024. Nice quiet day to close out a crazy ass week on Wall Street, crazy week in politics, crazy week in friggin' everything in our world, guys. That's sorry about my title today. I know I um, get a little weepy from time to time, just wanting things to be normal again, you know. And I guess my definition of normal could be a lot different than yours, but I'm just looking for a time where we don't talk about politics every day. I saw a lot of talk on the politics today, and I get everybody has their opinion, red team, blue team stuff. But here's the sad thing to me about this year's election, guys. So we know who we're going to be dealing with. The sad news to me, whether the red team or the blue team wins, not much is really going to change. I don't really think. Um, but we don't have a chance at a great one. We don't have a chance at a Reagan or a Kennedy or even an Eisenhower or a Roosevelt or even a Truman. We don't have a chance at one of the great presidents, a real leader of people. What we got is Trump, and we all know what Trump's all about. And we got now Kamala Harris. It just seems to me like I don't know, man. Not much of it. It's not, I mean, I guess it's, at least you could say it's a better choice than Biden versus Trump, which was really something nobody wanted. Um, this is something I guess almost nobody really wants, but it's going to be a close one to the finish. It's going to be ugly as hell. It's going to be the worst kind of politics because nobody's really talking about anything they're going to do. Nobody's telling us, hey, man, I got these great ideas on how to deal with the deficit. I got this, I got that. Now, we get a lot of bullshit, but no idea on how to really do it. Okay. I've heard some great ideas. Let's cut taxes on seniors, on Social Security. Let's do away with taxes on tips, which was when I worked in Vegas as a kid in the hotels, no taxes on tips. We got to keep it all. They brought that in later. But I'm telling you, man, no chance at a great one, man. That's my opinion of this election. And again, like I say, um, I don't really see. You really think it's much different today than it was when Trump was president? It doesn't seem that much different to me. I guess if depending on what your specific, your whatever your interests are. You're an abortion person, things are different. I got to say, I'm never having an abortion. I never will have an abortion. No one I know will have an abortion. So that's not an interest that interests me. No one's coming for my guns. I don't have the arsenal that I know most of you knuckleheads do. But, I got a handgun and a rifle like every normal American does. Um, I don't really believe they're coming for my guns. So that one goes out the window for me. Now, the border, that sucks. Not taking care of that sucks. But, you know, both solutions blew. Trump's solution was just so mean and it could have just been done so much better. I like the idea of let's not let them come here and live like they're Americans while they're waiting while we do any kind of investigation. I like that idea part of it. Just doing it with such cruelty and malice was something I didn't care for. Um, and Biden, I mean, I don't, I don't even know if Biden could find Texas on a map in the state he's in right now, which is sad. I think that we really haven't had much leadership in this country. We haven't had um, anybody to really inspire us. If you want to be inspired to fighting and hating the other team, we've had a lot of that from both sides. But as far as the idea of a one America, like Reagan brought us all together, in my lifetime, he's the one I think, whether you agree with his policies or not, was the one president that had the biggest effect on the people, in my opinion. We were going through a terrible time then, like we are now, very much the same. And the country was feeling down, like our best days were behind us, like a lot of the chat here, like even me, is it ever going to be normal again? And because Reagan had a way of talking to people and a way of making his point, whether you agreed with him or not, you couldn't hate him for it like they do today. The guy doesn't agree with you, enemy, needs to go, commie, Nazi. We have a lot of long list of stuff. But anyway, I'm babbling on about politics. I don't really get into that. I just got to say, remember this, guys. In the end, nobody's helping the working man. Nobody's helping us. Neither team. So if Trump wins, we're still going to get the bill. If Harris wins, we're still going to get the bill. I guess the big choice is going to be, who do we want to see on TV for 4 years? Right? I mean, anyway, I babble. Let's talk about markets. Quiet finish to a crazy week. The market's finishing up today, which was good news. I wasn't reading anything today about the treasury being in the bond market, so the bond market had a chance to kind of catch its breath. A weird day overall, though. Let's go over these numbers. Stock market, Dow up 51 points. Now at 39,497, so moving right back up to the 40,000 where it was. The NASDAQ up 85 points, 16,745 on the NASDAQ. S&P up 24, 5,344 on the S&P 500. So I think that pretty much the market finished the week exactly where it started it, or pretty close. So we had a lot of drama and a lot of all kind of, wow, oh my God, end of the world. Oh my God, maybe not. It's the beginning of a new world. No, basically it turning into a giant nothing burger. And the markets kind of just did a big loop this week, and that's it. The bond market, well, another weird day in the bond market. You had longer term yields, which I believe should be going up, come down. So 10-year comes down 5 basis points, sitting at 3.95%. The 2-year, the shorter term, which I think should still be going down, guess what? The 2-year goes up just 1 basis point, but still up, now at 405. No rhyme or reason to it, guys. The bond market, like I said, there's so many things smashing the bond market. It's amazing to me that it's still functioning, because there's so much stress and so much demand on that market now, and especially with the Fed in the game. When will rates happen? How much will they happen? What's the end game for the Fed? A lot of speculating going on in the bond market right now. A lot of positions moving around. Big money, guys. Probably close to trillions of dollars being played out in this bond market right now. Dollar falls a little bit today, down 12 basis points, 103.14 on the index. Not much happening with the dollar over the past week or so. It took a sharp downturn with the markets, has rallied back up, has not got back up to the 104 where it was, but bounced off that 102 pretty good. So just kind of, we'll see what happens now with it next week. Precious metals today, basically another non-day for precious metals. Gold up $1.20. $2,429.60 for an ounce of gold last time I looked. Silver falls 10 cents. $27.41 for an ounce of silver. Silver's got me a little nervous, guys. And even though there's so much good news in the silver market, that article I read yesterday, I talked a little bit about the show, how industrial demand could basically suck up the entire silver supply that's being created every year, maybe even more than that. And that's stuff that's not going to get back into circulation for, coins or bullion or whatever. So that's kind of a weird deal. There should be more demand. Supply is going to shrink in silver. I guess they're going to wait on it. I don't know. Markets are usually ahead of the game there. Maybe it's already priced in. I'm not sure. But Silver has some reasons to move higher. For some reason, it just isn't right now. Oil today, oil up 76 cents, $76.95 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. The reason we have a little bit of oil moving or oil prices moving, we have, everybody waiting on Iran. What are they going to do? We know that Israel went and killed that guy in Tehran. Actually, I mean, that's pretty crazy. He flew right into the enemy's capital and blew a guy up in his apartment. So the Iranians, rightly pissed, promising retaliation. Remember how their retaliation went last time? Big barrage of missiles and drones, Israeli Iron Dome, and plus with help from some other allies, including the United States. Not a lot got through to hit Israel. So now the world holding its breath, waiting to see what Israel is going to do for this retaliation. And it's really interesting because I think if Israel had their way, if Iran had their way, they would really retaliate hard. But they don't want to go into a broader war with Israel. They would prefer to play it like they do in the back, how they have their front people, Hamas, Hezbollah, go and do their thing for them. So interesting times there, could affect this oil price. But even with all the drama, oil not really moving that much higher than the 75 target we have. Bitcoin today rallies up 1,097, 60,769 for Bitcoin. So back on the other side of 60,000. Now it's got a long way to go. So we'll see. It's 60,000 is going to be support now or resistance. That question is going to get answered pretty quickly, I'm going to guess. And then we'll figure out what the trend is going to be with Bitcoin coming up soon. All right, let's talk about stuff. So markets today finish, like I said in the title, wild week, quiet finish. This was the most volatile week for the S&P 500 that I can remember. I mean, it was just whipsawing all over the place. It's crazy, guys. It turned out to be, like I said, huge, not much. It looked like something big was happening. We'll have to see. New data coming next week. We'll see how the market is basically data hostaged, right? Because every little piece of data now is going to affect the way the market's thinking, the Fed is thinking. It's so crazy. Again, can we have normal? Anyway, I have Babylon, guys. Sorry. So the news is a wild week, but a nothing burger finish. Big, crazy turns up and down. Big news, but no real end up or down. Nothing happening. And you're going to get more and more of this, guys. We're going to have big volatility. Once the Fed cuts rates, we'll see where the markets go there. Interesting stuff just to close out the week. A couple things. Mortgage lock-ins, people not selling their houses, they don't want to get rid of their first mortgage, so they're not refining, taking cash out. They're not. Well, that has cost the U.S. economy $20 billion in economic activity so far this year. Builders not building, furniture stores, everybody that's involved in a house. Imagine all the stuff that goes into it. Painters, you got architects, roofers, you got finishing guys, carpenters, flooring guys, the carpet guy, the tile guy, the toilet guys, the plumbers, you got the electricians, all these people that would ordinarily be working, right? And all the stuff that goes with buying a house that exists. Okay, maybe they're not so much involved with the landscapers and the pool guys and all the rest. I mean, there's so much attached to housing. We're losing all of that because people have locked in super low mortgages and they don't want to get rid of those mortgages and will not get rid of those mortgages. And neither would I. I get it. So interesting times with that. 20 billion. By the end of the year, they're predicting it could be up to $40 billion in lost economic activity because of super low mortgages. I thought that was interesting. Climate, you guys see this superstorm going through, man? Debbie. I know it hit some of you guys down there in Florida. I can't remember who it was. Was it Miggy yesterday? Um, anyway, the storm is just dumping water everywhere it's going. Now it's back along the coast. They say it could go all the way up to New York, even further north up to Maine. And everywhere it goes, it's leaving big insurance claims in its wake, guys. I was reading an article today. Listen to this. They were saying that climate change, not talking about the politics of it, just the fact that weird things are happening. They said that because of it and the skyrocketing cost to insure, houses in high risk areas could fall as much as 60% in value. That is friggin' crazy. But I guess if you got a beautiful, you got a big fancy house on the coast and you've been getting, every year for the last, 10 years or so, hurricanes, big damage, and you got a property that's worth tons of money, well, guess what? The insurers aren't going to want to insure. And if they do, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. And anyway, it's just a horrible thing that's happening. And even worse is now these storms don't just go through Florida like Andrew did and okay, they're done. Now they're coming back in for these double dips and now moving north. I mean, we've seen now hurricanes go all the way up north from the coast, from Louisiana going north, Florida going north. So now Georgia's partly getting flooded out because of these hurricanes. South Carolina, Charleston got double dipped already with this recent one with Debbie. So it's going to be a bad things coming. And truthfully, what's going to happen is you got State Farm, Allstate, one of the big nationwide insurance companies. We're all going to have rising rates because of this stuff, guys. Just because you live in an area that's not going to be affected by these weather events, they spread the risk, right? They spread the risk. So we're all going to get higher and higher insurance rate. Bet on it. It's going to happen for sure. Average consumers, listen to this, guys. The average consumer now has more than $6,300 in credit card debt. That's the average, okay? I'm not sure if that's the median or not, but that means, a lot of people have more than that. Guys, that's breaking one of the cardinal rules here. We don't do debt. We don't do that. So hopefully the people on this show, people listening, commenting, I don't know, guys. Crazy, man. Don't be piling debt on. Freedom is what you want. If freedom's really what you want, you can't be free if every penny you make goes to paying debt. And we already know how expensive everything is just for the necessaries. If this is extra debt, even worse. Right? So be careful with that stuff, guys. $6,300 now the average across the United States. Remember, I was telling you guys along the show, cutting rates, raising rates doesn't change the economy. Well, I guess it does, but raising rates causes slowing economy. People stop borrowing. The economy slows down. Ultimately, a recession happens. Economic activity slows. Prices come down with it. You cut rates, you get the exact opposite. Economic activity picks up. Okay. Well, now you've heard me say, it's not going to be rates. It's going to be the recession that gets prices and inflation back under control. Now we're getting down to the crux of it. This rest of this year is going to be the ball game, guys. It's going to be fascinating times to watch it. And that's it. Friday, weekend. I'm heading up to Reno this weekend. Got some friends, going to hang out, have a couple of drinks, smoke some cigars, have some nice dinners, just do guy stupidity. Hope all of you guys have a super awesome weekend. Get some football in. I'll be checking, and I got the Bills already recorded, so I'll be able to check out our new guys. All of you guys have a super weekend. Get away from this Wall Street. Get away from the newspaper. Get away from the madness. Family, friends, good times. Relax. We're back at it on Monday with the madness again. Hopefully next week will be a little quieter or a little more. If we're not, I don't mind if it's noisy, but let's get somewhere. Anyway, I babble. Great weekend, everybody. Back on Monday. Have a great weekend, all. Till then, so long.